Welcome to Alice Just Alice 55. You're listening to an AI-narrated audiobook version of my original story, The Unclaimed Werewolf, an Unbound Wolves novel, written by Alice N. Smith. Chapter 33, Where the Table Takes Shape. The fire was low and steady, not built for warmth so much as light. Nora sat on one side of it, knees drawn up beneath the cloak, the heavy fur pooled around her legs. Morsel was curled at her feet, half on the hem of the cloak, nose tucked against his tail, clearly enjoying the warmth as much as she was. The ache in her arm had settled into something manageable, present, but no longer sharp. Healing continued, slow and stubborn. Brooke sat across from her, far enough not to crowd, close enough to be part of the circle. Eamon took the third place, angled slightly away from both of them, posture relaxed but alert in the way of someone who expected trouble even in quiet. No one spoke for a while. The fire crackled softly. Somewhere deeper in the forest, something small moved and went still again. Nora broke the silence. "You keep saying the council," she said, "like I'm supposed to know what that means." Brooks glanced at Eamon once, then nodded. "That's fair." Eamon shifted slightly, resting his forearms on his knees. "It isn't one pack," he said, "and it isn't a single alpha giving orders. It's pairs," Brooks added. "Mated alpha pairs." Nora's brow furrowed. "Pairs, yes," Brooks said. "An alpha and his mate. Both sit, both vote. Equal authority." She absorbed that slowly. "So if an alpha doesn't have a mate," she said, "he doesn't get a seat." "He can still hold land," Brooks replied, "command a pack, defend borders, but he doesn't sit at the table." "And you," she said, glancing at him, "don't." "No," Brooks said simply. Eamon watched her carefully as the pieces began to settle. "When an alpha bonds," Eamon continued, "the council gains stability. Two perspectives, two lines of authority bound together." Nora snorted softly. "That sounds convenient." "It is," Brooks agreed. "For them." She looked into the fire, watching sparks lift and vanish. "So," she said slowly, "they want me to complete something." "Yes," Eamon said. "Anchor it," Brooks added. "Legitimize it." Nora's jaw tightened. "And if I don't?" "They push," Brooks said. "Quietly, patiently. They pressure you to choose," Eamon added, "but not just anyone." Nora looked up. "Meaning?" "An alpha," Brooks said plainly. "One with land, authority, a pack. One whose territory and influence can be folded into the council's reach," Eamon said. Nora stared at them. "So this isn't about stability." "It's about expansion," Brooks replied. "And control," Eamon added. Silence settled again. Nora leaned back on her hands, the cloak shifting and settling more firmly around her legs. Morsel adjusted with a sleepy huff and tucked himself more securely against the warmth. "I still don't understand something," she said. Brooks tilted his head slightly. "Ask." "If this is so important," she said, "why me?" Neither man answered immediately. She felt it then, the weight of their hesitation. "Why aren't they just finding another alpha?" she pressed. "If all these alphas need mates, why is everyone suddenly focused on me?" Eamon exhaled slowly. "Because there isn't another choice," he said. She frowned. "That's not true. There are packs everywhere." "Yes," Brooks said. "There are." "And female alphas," she said. "I've heard of them." "So have we," Brooks replied. "Very rarely." Nora's stomach tightened. "How rare?" she asked. Eamon met her gaze. "In some regions, there hasn't been a female born in generations." The fire popped softly. In others, Brooks added, there might be one, and she's claimed before she's fully grown. Nora stared at them. That's not possible, she said. It is, Eamon replied. And it happens. She shook her head slowly. I knew we weren't common. I didn't know. You didn't know you were that rare, Brooks finished. Silence pressed in. Nora looked down at her feet, at the familiar shape of Morcel curled against her, trusting and unbothered by counsels or scarcity. So that's it, she said quietly. I'm not a person to them. I'm a resource. Eamon's voice was low, a variable. Her mouth curved humorlessly. Lucky me. Brooks leaned forward slightly, elbows on his knees. That's why they're careful with you, why they don't move openly, why they dress this as concern, and why they won't stop, Eamon added. Nora closed her eyes briefly, then opened them again. When I was little, she said, I thought I was strange because I was alone, because no one ever came looking. She laughed once, short and sharp. Turns out I was wrong about that too. Eamon's hands clenched briefly, then relaxed. They don't care which alpha I choose, she continued, as long as I choose one who suits them. Yes, Brooks said, and if I don't, they'll keep narrowing the walls, Brooks replied, until choosing feels easier than resisting. Nora looked up at the stars through the trees, jaw set. They should have told me, she said. They should have, Eamon agreed. But they didn't, she said. They let me think this was about land or rules or being inconvenient. She looked back at both of them. This is about power. Neither man argued. Nora leaned forward and poked at the fire with a stick, sending a brief shower of sparks upward. Well, she said quietly, that's disappointing. Morsel shifted, pressed closer, and let out a contented sigh. She rested a hand on his head, grounding herself. Thank you, she said finally, for explaining. Brooks inclined his head. Eamon nodded once. The fire burned on between them, steady, contained, and suddenly far too small for the shape of what she now understood. And for the first time, Nora saw the council clearly, not as a distant authority, but as a machine, one that needed her to function and intended to make sure she did.